Welcome back to Bobblehead Homestead. My name is Jeff. Yesterday was grapple day. The grapple's still on there. Today is flail mower day. That's assuming I can get the grapple off and the flail mower on. But we're going to go give that a shot. Something I didn't mention yesterday, one thing about this grapple, all those little trees, some of them had been cut down and then regrown before. That's the beauty of this root grapple, is it digs down in there and yanks up the roots. So the chances of it continuing to grow back all the time are a lot less. So that's one of the beauties. With the forestry mulcher, it goes in and it mulches it all the way down to ground level, but it leaves those roots in that stump and then it'll grow back. So, which is fine in a lot of different circumstances, but that's one thing I really love about this this root grapple is it's going to get down there and rip those roots out and stumps on smaller stuff. The stump bucket is for the bigger stumps. That's not what I want to do today, though. Today I want to play around with my flail mower. Wiley's used it just about as much as I have, 5 maybe 10 minutes. So today, let's hope I get the implements switched and it works. I'll be happy, and then we'll get to some flailing of brush. Bob always wants to know what's going on, and Fifi likes, you like to know what's going on too. Yep. I gotta go move some of this landscape fabric that's in the way. That's what I gotta go do. And then I'm gonna take this this grapple off, and then I gotta go next door to get the flail mower. Meow. Meow. Yeah, Bob, are you jealous? Bob's like, I want some too. Fifi's like, all right, enough of that. last 2 nights I've been testing out that flail mower. So let's do a little walking tour, and I can show you. I did most of it last night. The other night I got distracted by neighbors. But let's turn this camera around and I'll show off what that flail mower can do. Yeah, we're out here by the lane. Driveway goes through there. Oh, and there comes Bob. I got some hugelkultur out here. Planted some seeds in that one. Some of them are sprouting on this side. Didn't plant anything there because it's just all kinds of messed up. And planted a bunch over here. And these are starting to take off. Pumpkins, gourds, zucchini, squash, I don't even know what all. But yeah, you can see I had 6 foot tall sections of plants growing right out here. Right, Bob? Yep. And so that's what I wanted to try it out on first, was that big grass. Now the first time I tried it, before we got it adjusted, I was not happy at all. And it's because it wasn't adjusted and I didn't know what I'm doing yet. I still don't know what I'm doing, but after last night I know a lot better what I'm doing. But you can see the ground is not even around here, so it, you know, when you hit dips, and just makes it hard to get an even cut. But I learned a lot and got a lot of this cut out here. So I'm not turning this into a lawn in the future. This isn't all going to be grass. It's going to be a food and flower forest. Yep. And what I'll do here is this winter, I'll finish off these hugelkultur beds, get some more topsoil on them, get them all leveled out. Then I'll probably put down some landscape fabric, and we'll see what I do next year. Might go ahead and start the berries, or yeah, I got plenty of time to make up my mind. So yeah, this flail mower is going to help me get all these hoop coops and chickens out of the front yard. But we got heavy rain this morning, so it's gonna, and we got more coming all day tomorrow, they say. So it's gonna be a while before I can get around to brush cutting again. Took a path around that hoop coop with it. Left my patch of Plains coreopsis. Golden tick seed is another name for it. But yeah, Plains coreopsis. Volunteer, I did not plant that. Although I do have some seeds if I want to plant some in the future. All right. And this is where the skid steer broke down and we had to fix it. But Bob chasing butterflies, or grasshoppers, I should say. Yeah, I mowed down here. This is kind of the lane underneath the power lines, power pole. And yep. So to the right over here is where I'm going to want to run the fence. I still haven't gotten these out. That will be that'll be a project coming up. But yeah, with that flail mower, got down here, got all this cut down. This was also, you know, it all looked like that. original property line was basically this power pole, and you can see the low part down there. That's a seasonal creek. I get a lot of runoff down there when it rains, and this is a good way for me to test it out. But yeah, got down here with the skid steer and took out all of this. Boy, this is soft and muddy down here. Boy, this would be, well, it's what, north facing, so not the best area for a garden, but one of the better areas I got. And that goes up to the new property right there. Yeah, we're looking at the lane is on the other side of this jumbled mess. And there's my little seasonal creek with the runoff. Oh hey, that's kind of a cool plant right next to the property stake. That's interesting. Yeah, that's the original property line, that metal stake. Over in here is going to be some more hugel culture on this, but it's that's going to take more work. Not a high priority right now, but I'll have all winter to start shaping this up. And again, it seems like berries would grow well right here. You think? You think maybe some berries would grow well? So yeah, 4 more hugel culture beds still need to be shaped out and taken care of, but that'll be coming in the future. I can only do a little bit at a time, you know. That's how it goes. All right, now we're looking back up towards the house, power lines. Here is where my fence line is going to start there and go all the way back into there, and we'll go back to the path here in a minute. And I've done a pretty good job of getting all the trees that are popping up, except for the ones by the stumps, which will come out. So now I can go back here, through here with that flail mower, and or the bucket, and just smooth this out. And so I can run a, you know, fence line right through there, then run the fence line up towards the metal shed, and then it'll be won't be a square, but it'll be a big space, because back in there that's where I want all these hoop coops and chickens that are currently in the backyard, in the front yard. I want them in the backyard under the trees, and I can start working on that. Okay, so this was one section I worked on. Now let's go take a look, and this will be a longer hike at some areas back there where I did some flail mowing. Once I got the hang of this thing in the front yard out by the lane, then I headed off to the backyard where the chickens will be going in the future. I had a trail back there for my Honda, but it was growing up in weeds, so I had to do something about that. All right, this is going to be a long walk, but I'm going to do it anyway. And the sun just came out, so let's head for the shade. Yes, orientation, nice big oak tree. And yep, couple passes through here. It left a few stragglers sticking up, but not too bad. And now this is definitely wide enough for me to come back here with my side-by-side again. I do have a water spigot right here, so cleaning that up gives me better access to the water spigot. And then yep, coming through here. So those are two empty coops right there, and that's where I want to move the ones in the front yard to. But I need to clean out this jungle before I start putting their fences up. That will hopefully be coming soon. But this is the area that I had the forestry mulcher and bulldozer. Oh, Bob's gonna join me. Right in there was a burn pile, and that's where I was stealing topsoil from for the hugelkultur out front. So yeah, once I got the hang of it, I just came through here with the skid steer and the flail mower, and you know, just started running over stuff. It's kind of fun. Yeah, you can come explore out here more. Yeah, no real rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I was just goofing around, seeing what it would take out. And man, it does a really good job. You know, just one pass through this stuff. I really need to come through here with the grapple and get a bunch of this up that's lying on the ground. But it does a really good job. You can see right next to it what I was dealing with. And yep. So yeah, this is a nice little opening. This would be a great place for a barn someday. You know, a barn that would have sheep back there. We'll walk back there in a minute. And the chickens back in here. All right. Yeah, this was my path for the side-by-side. And we'll walk down here and I'll show you the fence line. There is a gully down there, and there's a big tree with a ribbon on it right there. I got to take that big pine tree out, because that is right where the fence will cross the gully. I will have to put a culvert in there and build a little land bridge over that. But now, yeah, just straight back is where the fence line is going to go up by the power poles, power lines, and then come straight through here to where I'm standing here. So that'll be the goal, is getting the fence line cleared out. Then I'll need a culvert and take care of the crossing over the gully. And the gully goes down in here to another creek. We'll get to it. But, yep. So, the fence line is gonna go from power lines all the way back here to this trail. And I'll put a corner somewhere, and then head off in So the fence is going to be coming this way. Then I'll have a corner here with a gate. And then it'll be, you can see, then I can run the fence through there and then back over. But here is the trail that kind of splits my property in half. So having a gate here, I can still get access to the trail. And this side of the trail goes up to my new property. So let's walk down there for a second. And that's where my original property line is, right here. So now I own, you know, all the way. All the way. But this is, we'll get there in a second. Yeah, I just mowed over this real quick. Then I discovered I had to back up to get out of here. I probably could have made it through there, but I don't want to create any major ruts that will be hard to get through. But yeah, pretty good rain last night, so this has some water going. And it'll, you know, while it's raining, when it's raining hard, this'll rage a little bit. But that just, that goes up to my new property. I don't know if you can see it, but that's where the spigot we put in, the back one. And I was clearing out the brush in the middle of the pasture here. What I'll want to do here eventually is put in probably a couple culverts and then a little land bridge over this so I can access both sides. Right now I just avoid it unless it dries out. And it dries out pretty good. Right now it might be too muddy and I'd create more ruts, and so I don't want to do that. But yeah, nice little area down here. Seasonal creek when it rains. This is the creek that goes under the lane where we were looking at earlier. Yeah, Bob loves exploring with me. Fifi usually does too. Surprised she's not out here. Don't be tripping me, Bob. This trail was here when I bought the property. This trail was here when they, you know, this was all one big property before they started splitting it up and selling it. And this actually goes all the way up through my neighbor's place and then up to my other neighbor's place. Yeah. This was why having a skid steer is going to be such a huge asset for me. That's a low spot in there. A lot of nice trees, but that'd be a low spot for a pond. Yes, it would. And have to dam this up and put a relief. Yeah, how are you gonna get across this, Bob? I got boots on. Yeah, see my house through the forest. Lot of land back there I can start clearing. Not clear cutting, but clearing this small, you know, which would then be good for all kinds of stuff once all these small trees are out of the way. I can expand the fencing for one thing. And then over on this side, this is where all the forestry mulcher came through, and you can see how quick it grows back. And you can see these trees growing back. What I'll want to do is come back here with that front hoe or the grapple, either one, and start popping all these trees that are growing back out of here so they don't keep growing back. Somebody's having fun. Yeah, came back here with the flail mower, made a couple passes, widened up this lane. Let's see, we had another burn pile over in there. That'll be another place where I can steal some topsoil. Bob's running fast, having a blast. And we'll see what I can do for next spring. I had a bunch of seeds that I wanted to put out here. It just never got around to it. I got to come, yeah, I needed the skid steer. Didn't have the skid steer going, so all this got put on hold. And we'll see how much I can get to it this winter. Just knocking all this stuff down and then laying my own seeds that I want. Okay, we're coming up to a clearing here. This is almost my property line on my south property line. But I've got this whole clearing in here is mine. And it had just grown up, you know, with these 6 feet tall weeds. And I just came through here with the mower and made myself a path. So I was coming back here on the Honda over the winter before the weeds took back over, and now I can enjoy this space again. And so can Bob. What are you hunting, buddy? Yeah, this is a nice big clearing. This was already here when I bought the property. I'm told years ago this is all cleared out for a hunting area. And that makes sense. Oh, I've got, yeah, speaking of hunting, deer. Have you seen that footage? I don't know. You're gonna see footage of deer in my backyard in this video. This is all mullein. Mullein. Just a big old patch of mullein out here, which makes sense. It's one of the first things that grows back after you've cleared land. And there's also a burn pile back here with forestry mulcher and the bulldozer. So all that bare land leaves behind some big juicy mullein plants. Yeah, I hit a few logs coming through here. You can see that one's charred. That was part of the burn pile. But now I can start keeping all this up with my skid steer and Bob. This would be a great place for a cabin someday also. Few trees growing back, but it's mostly this not the perennial trees, it's mostly these annual flower thingies. All right, walk back home. While I get entertained by the neighbors making loud cracking noises with some type of thing. Boy, that sun has come out and it is so humid. We had, I don't know how much rain. A lot of rain. Yep, this is about my south property line. And then this is the trail that goes through the middle. You know, that's where the house is, and the lane in my driveway is on that side. And then on this side of it, that's only about half of my property over there, of my original property. It's about half of it. The other half is all back in here. So we're at about the halfway point. I've got, you know, this is 6.87 acres on this property. And then the new property at the end of this trail down by that creek is also 6.87 acres. And it's got probably half of that is grown up like this. So I've got a lot more land than I can handle. But I now have a piece of machinery that'll help me handle it better than I could by myself with the meager tools I had when I got here. Yep. Yeah, it won't make sense for me to do a lot of work this year until winter, that is, or late fall when all this stuff starts dying off. Then I can start coming back here. You know, eventually I'm only doing a small section of fencing right now because of cost, but eventually I'd love to do fencing all the way over here and then all the way, you know, to the house and back behind the house. Long-term dreams. And yeah, next time I have the grapple on, I should make a run through here. And there's some downed trees, and there's a big old limb in the way of my path. I'll kick that out of the way right now. Oh yeah, there's another one up there too. But the grapple will help get this stuff out of the way. Don't want to puncture a tire on my side-by-side. Oh, you're already been run over a few times. Uh-oh. There we go. All kinds of mushrooms and stuff. That is the low spot. Build a dam, like right in here. You can see where it goes down and then back up. But build a dam on this side of it. And then have the runoff, you know, have a runoff culvert for when it's full. But build a dam on this side of it and build it wide enough that I can drive over it. And then, you know, then access this half of the property, and then have the pond be in there in the low spot. We'll see. We'll see. A lot of trees in the way. That's one big bummer. Yeah. The other option would be at the end of this lane and dam up that other creek, which runs, more water runs through that other creek, and put a pond over there, which would border both properties. But I don't think that's all that smart in case I end up selling one of these properties. You tuckered out for a minute, Bob? Found a nice shady spot with a little breeze coming through? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of work. Made so much easier with a piece of machinery. All right, gotta go back through the mud here. Oh. But yeah, so somewhere in there will be the corner of the fencing going out towards the lane, and I'll put a gate right here so I can access, you know, this side of it. And then then I'll go at an angle, so gate probably right in here, and then I'll go at an angle through there, and then behind the metal shed. And so it'll still be probably 2 to 3 acres that I want to fence in to get started. Then I can put, you know, all my chickens in that area, and a livestock guardian dog that can run around protecting the chickens. And then we'll see about, you know, maybe I expand into ducks and geese and guineas and turkey. I like eating turkey. It's all kinds of stuff, but I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. So right now it's just the 4th of July and this fence area, all in here will be fenced in. That'd also be a good spot for a garden, now that I think about it. Which I did, yeah, I thought about it before. It is a nice spot for a garden, but I stole some of the topsoil. But I could level all this out. You know, if I go back in time, you can see the house there. I probably would have put the house right here. But I didn't have this area cleared out when I bought the property, and so I didn't know how flat this would have been. It would have cost a lot more to run the electric and the water, and I'd have to have a driveway all the way out here. So, but still, I really like this spot. It would have been good for a house site. All right, that was a long hike. I'm with you, Bob. I'm gonna stand in the shade here for a minute. But a little gully I got to deal with, but I want to clear all that in there for the chickens. And then the perimeter fence will be electrified, so I can the chickens will still have their own fence around their hoop coop. So there'll be a perimeter fence around everything, and then inside I'll still have their that perimeter one fencing around each of the coops. And but now I can just take a clip. I can clip it off the perimeter fence onto the Premier One fencing around the hoop coop and power it that way. That way I don't have to run power all the way out here. As long as I put one part of that fence close enough to the fence line, I can get the power to run the fences through the perimeter fence. All right, I am sweating, Bob. This humidity and the sun. But I guess that about concludes my tour. Coming back into the house area and where the chickens currently are, where they're gonna be. And we're gonna call it a day. That was a long walk. I haven't walked that long in a while. So I need a break, go sit down for a while and start working on a video. This one might be long and boring, but that happens. It happens. Have I signed off already? I think I did. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for everything. Take it easy. Stay tuned for excitement coming up.